Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another casted series from the Trash Can League. My name is Harrison, and today we're back with the round 5 game between Passi and Big CHIS. Game number 1 will be played on Saguenay. We have Passi playing as the French civilization spawning to the western map in the colour red, with CHIS played as the Japanese spawning to the eastern map in the colour blue. Opening down with an early consulate, and looks like he's going to go for a treasure mid-map. 75 wood. That's a very, very nice opening there for Japan. I wonder if that will help his Age 1 shrine. Maybe he can minimise the amount of wood he's going to chop in base. He's chopping a little bit. Yes, a villager's going to the tree. I wonder if CHIS can mitigate that for his build order and try and pull off that villager early on and maximise the berries being gathered. We'll have a check if he's going to do that. And yes, Big CHIS checking his macro on point and does actually pull that villager back. So yeah, good open here from CHIS. French player here opening up with a trading post, as with standard, on the prime location for himself. He'll get that first pass of experience, and will that be enough for his first shipment? I think it will be. He needs 110, 66 XP from that trading pass, plus the house being built, villager being trained, and the polar bear sniped allows him to get a very, very early trading post. And I bet Passi's only just picked his deck now, and yes, his deck is going to be a 1v1 deck, 3 CDBs first, with no naval cards, which is a bit of a curious one versus a Japanese player on a side water map. Treasure here, 100 wood plus the 2 polar bear for the experience points when they're killed. Certainly a sizable amount of XP that will push his tempo along a little bit further. And CHIS over here dropping down a shrine with double monks. Will that get him house? I think not. He's just about managed to get that villager queued, 3 fishing boats in queue, and we'll have the next couple of villas being trained if he remembers to, and yes he does. So there's the 14th vill. So we see a couple 3 fishing boats being dropped down from CHIS onto the water. It's a nice, it's kind of semi-water map. You wouldn't want to go for a full-on water boom on the winter version, but the fact that it's only a couple fish here has led Passi to not take a water deck, but CHIS dropping down the 3 fishing boats. I'll be interested to see if CHIS here is going to also call the fishing boats from the Portuguese consulate. That would lead to him having 6 fishing boats on the water in total, and then if you have 6 fishing boats and nothing else to defend them, then a single dock, caravel from France could kill all of them, and that's going to be a 6 villager kill plus the caravel to fish afterwards. That's a 7 villager swing in Age 2, so that's something for both players to consider. And CHIS does have the 2 feuds in his deck, so he does have a way to defend. Passi standing guard next to the 135 experience points treasure. Crack shot is a polar bear, but he knows very well that the Japanese monks here are not great in combat. They can't take down a polar bear instantly. They have to essentially wait until the French player here does the crack shot to go for the treasure still, and Passi is under no real threat to take this. He can pull in his native scout, but native scouts across the map at the moment. It's a bit far from the action. Passi's giving himself up for the crack shot. He's looking to go for the bait crack shot, then back into the fight, and at the moment, is this actually engagement going to slow CHIS's shrine boom going? I think Passi's got that. That's a good snipe. Yeah, Passi picking it up, and CHIS, even with the easy, thinking he had taken it, but he hadn't. Passi managed to get there ahead. But no snare here from the monk actually on top of the explorer. I think that would have been very, very nice. At least if Passi's going to get out there with the treasure, at least take the explorer down with, and make sure that trade is as favourable for you as possible from that obviously poor situation. CHIS dropping down a shrine mid-map. The other explorer now moving towards the southern side of the map to go for more shrining. This probably is a bit of an awkward map here for Japan in terms of shrining. Most of the hunts are obviously middle map position, but the design of this map leads to not being very far from the coast to the edge of the map. So actually, it doesn't take long for musketeers, pikes to move from one shrine to another, and CHIS may actually want to start shrining far hunts of Passi nice and early, just so he can buy time and work his way shrining back towards the Japanese town centre. Aging up with the Toshogu Shrine in transition, he may actually miss out on a couple of hunts. I think he should be able to get these 3 musk ox, 1, 2, 3 caribou. This might miss out a few. Does have the potential to bring in a couple of musk oxes down below, so it's not too bad actually in terms of placement. It was also nice for kind of blocking access to the cherry orchards from a southerly, cav raid, but it does the job. It does link tie between the trees as well, make it some path in between these buildings. Quite awkward. The gold mine here from CHIS is relatively exposed. That consulate maybe dropped a bit too close to the town centre. Could be maybe a bit further. Really trying to block that barracks, and that could be not block the barracks, block the gold mine, and that could be a point of raiding there for Passi, especially if he moved in with musketeers or skirmishers. Right, looking from Passi's point of view, double racks in the mid. 700 wood into 600 wood. Passi here, open to go for a crossbow rush. Bow pike open. Got to open with double bows. And I like the double bow opening here. Get those bows straight into the enemy's town centre, put the pressure on, force the time, and force the defensive shipments. I think Passi on the second shipment should go 1 batch pike, 1 batch crossbows for 15 bows, 5 pikes. I know a lot of people in this matchup, I've seen it over the years, they go pike heavy and gives Japan player time. They go open bow pike for the first batch, and that they don't have enough siege to take the shrines, but they don't have enough pressure to force the villagers into the town centres. They can't really do anything in that situation. But opening 10 crossbows here from Passi should be enough to force the idle time, force the defensive units in there. We do see CHIS dropping down 5 Yumis. Has he seen mid-map? He hasn't actually seen mid-map. He's only just seen the crossbows now. He does count 10, so he knows for a certainty they're trained. They weren't shipped as an 8 crossbow shipment. And that's going to change how he's going to play behind this. He has enough export here to research the Portuguese fishing fleet, but I think he's going to hold on to those export for the ordnance crossbowmen from the Portuguese consulates here. No, he's actually going to go for the 3 fishing boats. I think versus all this aggression here from Passi, I think it's quite wise to go for the crossbows. Having said that, though, the fishing boats, they will not be raided at all, and you can send your own defensive colonial militia shipments to one-shot every single crossbow. And that's the thing, like once you have that shipment sent, these crossbows, they can kind of push into the town centre, but they'll take heavy losses. And yeah, there's something just to consider, but going for the extra eco onto the water here is just going to try and help him gather eco while not being raided, or trying to minimise the idle time from having all those villagers in the town centre basically idled into the town centre. Passi here, 17 crossbows, 5 pikes, so had that 2 double batches of crossbows, now going for that first batch of pikes. I see Stagecoach being researched behind this. 2 trading posts actually captured the furthest trading post on CHIS' side. I think this secondary trade post is too close for Passi to take for himself, but he should be able to take this final trading post as well. Stagecoach will come in. We'll get a big upgrade there, so there's a plus 66 XP. It does miss out just on 1 batch there, so it's a bit unfortunate, but it hasn't worked out too bad. But Passi instantaneously selecting this to wood to get an early batch of wood there from the TP before that first pass has passed. Big CHIS, I think, just sent himself a secondary shipment of 4 villagers, pushing out with a couple of Yumi archers. And this is quite interesting. 14 Yumi archers in this little bundle. And Passi is already walking back with his larger force. There was about 16 crossbows, but he just could not take the fight. Tried to siege the shrine, only down to about 600 HP, and just not enough pikemen to this job. This is the idea of having maybe those 10 crossbows to force that reaction, and then trying to push behind with those pikes. I did see Passi here trying to train a batch of musketeers. I don't know where they went. Looks like Passi is trying to age up behind this. That food floatage there was quite real, selling a little bit of that food off at the market to get the age up in, gathering the rest of those coin crates from the home city age up, and his card order was 3 CDB, 700 wood, 600 wood, 4 vils, and 700 coin. Big CHIS here, still trading a couple units. I think he's realised now that Passi's ceased production on his assault. Seeing the Stagecoach upgraded trading route here, this is going to be a key pressure point for the Japan player to take down the trading post and limit the advantage that Passi's getting from this upgraded stage coach line, or trading line, to be more precise. Decent amount of resources behind, sends in 600 coin to get that age up in, but Passi is nearly hitting that next age, and CHIS has still got that coin shipment to come in, and obviously click the age up himself and build the wonder with his villagers. So it's going to take a long while for CHIS to actually get to that fortress age, and in the meantime, Passi may have a huge time to exert his influence in the middle of the map and may push in. So yeah, Passi into the fortress age now. First card, going to be the 2 falconets. Batch of 5 muskets being trained. So we have 15 musketeers in total. Has his single trading post on the wood, and really needs more wood actually. He's currently housed. He doesn't have enough wood to upgrade to veteran musketeers. So he needs to build a house here, and he needs to continue villager production. Currently having an idle town centre behind this, but prioritising the musketeer upgrade. But Passi can't take a fight here until his units are upgraded, and especially until the falconets are on the field, putting pressure on CHIS's longbows, well not longbows, Yumi archers and Ashley Garrett musketeers. Nice double shrine up here from CHIS. Looks like, unfortunately, these 2 musk oxes are a little bit far away, but this full shrine will get a full bounty. Actually, this one musk ox is actually being attracted to the shrine. But yeah, that's a great shrining location. It's going to really annoy Passi if he tries to hunt towards the top side of the map. But I'm sure Passi, big brain Passi here, he is scouts that he can see it, but I think he's going to hunt with his army and keep his villagers in the middle of the map and move them forwards, just for safety in that respect. We see 13 crossbows, 18 veteran musketeers, a couple pikes still out in the field. They're being used to siege the shrines away from the action. That's a very smart move there from Passi. Good unit control. That may force a quick response here from CHIS out in the field, but I think CHIS is happy to relinquish control of those shrines on the mid-map and just fall back and wait until the age up for himself is completed. I think CHIS here will desperately need to send in the 2 flaming arrows to try and get some sort of range advantage over the falconets. 5 Naginatas may not be enough to push into this large mass of veteran musketeers, and it doesn't even have a stable behind to tech into Naginatas. Actually going for that stable now. This could be an interesting time to go for your Yabu Sams as well. That's an option. They have enough ranged armor to tank the musketeer crossbow shots, and then try and pick off the falconets if they get too close. Losing the Sugar Shrine's a big deal though. That's 240 XP going towards Passi. Notice that was 240 XP, not 320, due to the cheapened cost from the Portuguese consulate in Age 1. So, yeah, Passi not getting a full batch of experience points, but certainly going to help push his shipments along. 8 skirmishers, next card being sent. Yeah, that's his second shipment in this age, it seems. Military Rickshaw being summoned from the Japan consulate. Japan consulate in, buffing his units, but CHIS can't really fight until he actually gets a unit upgrade. He's got 5 Nagis popping from the stable, but he needs to back off until he gets some sort of upgrade behind. Does have 13 Yumis, 15 Ashis. With more Yumis from the town centre, this is a perfect time for him to try and sell at the market to get some coin. This is his last opportunity to do so before he loses it. He's actually going to try and push out before a shipment comes in. A Minutemen being called. Nagi's going for a southern flank. CHIS here probably been a bit too over optimistic of what he can get achieved. And Musketeers, good block actually on the Falconets. One Falconet will go down possibly. A bit of micro, and actually Musketeers save it. So a low HP Falconet. The other Falconet is low HP. I think CHIS needs to commit at this moment to these Falconets. They're too low, but he's going to have to back off because the Musketeers in too close to the damage. And yeah, CHIS has just gone too hard too early, it seems. Just like me on a night out. Wishing to pace myself a bit more. Yeah, the Falconets there are alive, and the town centre is trying to focus them down, but they can't. Passi's going to move back out and keep those Falconets alive for another day and just wait for reinforcements after taking a fantastic trade. He's got himself a strong position, but he's going to try and maintain this position to be strong as well. Emotion saying, I have a feeling I've seen this cast 5 days before. You might be thinking of the Herbie Master versus Eagle series, where the game was on Saguenay, French versus India. Similar kind of play styles, but no, I can assure you this is the first time you guys are seeing this series. A couple of flaming arrows, we'll get some nice pickups on the pikemen. Let's have a look at CHIS's shrine count. It's at 80 population. Also, obviously, Shogo Shrine down. These shrines are not doing too much damage. And is CHIS actually going to try and age up to the industrial age behind this. I don't think he really wants to. The remaining pikemen get cleaned up. It's not a massive deal here. But yeah, the Japan player booming straight back into this with the help of all these fishing boats on the water, assisting his eco. Shrine being thrown down on the place where there's not really many animals to shrine. That shrine could be better placed up here. It does have another shrine in location to go at the top. This is now being secured. The explorer now doing a fine job trying to secure this hunt for himself. The trading line could also be secured. Like, if Japan throws down a TP, that's okay. I think he's got enough, defense to deal with this. Especially with the flaming arrows outrange into falconets and how low they are. That's just a one-shot kill from the flaming arrows into the falconets. And I think that CHIS has seen this. He's going to try and position. Let's ride with him. What you can see, yes, one flaming arrow finds one falconet. He's going to try and micro. He's pushed forward that flaming arrow into the other one. Both falconets are down behind this, but Yumi archers are still not upgraded. And even the Ashigaras are not upgraded as well. So these are colonial units dealing with Fortress Age units here from Passi. And the flaming arrows go down very quickly. They weren't really behind the infantry line. And so, yeah, sending in Way of the Bow is great. Now taking into disciplined Yumi and disciplined Ashi is great, but you just haven't got the mass behind. That's a single Nagi batch coming out behind as well. The consulate is being built to try and spend that export, but it's not. It's going to get denied. And unfortunately, CHIS here looks to be in a bit of a difficult position. Let's ride with him for the time being. 47 villas. He's got a lot of villagers to be said, and enough villas in the town centre. The economy is still there. It's not gone. It's just a French player with 34 villagers. 3 trading posts, or soon to be 3 trading posts possibly. Actually, no, it looks like CHIS is actually going to see that trading post himself. But yeah, so 2 TPs and the 34 CDB is it's a consistent economy, but it's also on the natural resources as well. So that's been a real big assist for himself in this game. You see how the CDBs are. Where are those pesky little villagers? They're over here. They were in the mid-map hunting around this location that they moved down to the southern side. These guys up here hunting as well. Well, meanwhile, quite a lot of CHIS's villagers are in the town centre. They're gathering berries. They're probably chopping trees because they haven't got much else to do. He's got a couple down here. Yeah, he's got all his villagers down here chopping trees because he hasn't really got other cherry orchards. And CHIS, he knows, he just knows he can't afford to send cherry orchards. He just hasn't got the shipment space to send it. Trying to trade off between Yumi archers and veteran skirmishers, but the mass between these 12 disciplined Yumis and all of Passi's 19 skirmishers, it's just too in favour for Passi. Big batch of Cuirassiers being trained behind. We do currently have 5 on the field, another 5 being trained, 10 on the field, slightly buffed, 10 extra HP in the Definitive Edition in the Fortress Age before cavalry combat, so very strong units to train early on in the Fortress Age. A couple of villagers popping out to tank. I think there's a Minutemen batch coming out from CHIS. But the army here, disciplined Ashes, are going to try and work their way through the heavy cavalry. But the skirmishers still unchallenged, ripping through the Ashi and Yumi line behind. And I think CHIS's army here has been cleaned up. All his villagers are exposed. No food income as well. No reinforcements. The GG has been called. And game 1-1 is going to go to Passi for this one. Oh, I couldn't quite see my scoreboard. I think that's right. I hope so. Yes. I couldn't quite see my scoreboard. Which player the scoreboard was selected. I changed it with my hotkey settings there, but it's I wanted to give Big CHIS the point there, but unfortunately Passi did play very well and secured the game there with very. He didn't go too hard on the crossbow pike rush. Secured the map. The 2 trading post stagecoach play worked. Managed to get some resources back from it and invested into a second trading post behind after he lost that forward, but able to send 700 coin when he had the map, he had the control to age up. And then once the age up came in, the falconets lost quite a few musketeers early on though. A bit of House as well early on, not trained villagers. Vet Musk upgrade bit delayed. Hat was forced back there, so that transition wasn't as smooth as you would think. CHIS had the option to hold on, but I think CHIS's delayed training of research of the veteran techs was not a great idea. I can't really argue that the Tashoga Shrine was given up for free, but CHIS having to age it behind, he had to give up some sort of tempo to get that done, and that was the trade-off in the end, but never really had a shrine population behind. hoping that the 6 fishing boats would carry his economy, but that's not quite the case. Neither player here opting to go for the Cree settlement and the 5 Cree CDB that you can train inside the TP. Let's look at the villager population here. Obviously, shrines not counting here on the villager population, and CDBs having 1.25 effect from their population. So once Passi ages up, CHIS has the better eco, you can say, but Passi's out of the map on natural resources, 2 trading posts. Obviously, CDBs are much stronger themselves, but more importantly, the tempo advantage, a 9-minute age up compared to 11.5-minute age up, and 2.5 minutes in between. The thing was, CHIS went for that early engagement, but couldn't quite pick off the falconets when he wanted to, and that just caused a problem. But when he did have the flaming arrows reinforcing later on, there just wasn't enough military to back it up to really take the fight. And yeah, it's such a great trade for Passi. He backed off, waited for his heavy cavalry reinforcements, knowing that the flaming arrows would come afterwards, and yeah, closed that game off successfully. Right, let's move on to the next game in this Play All of 3 series between Passi and CHIS. Right, I'm going to have a nice cup of coffee from my green mug here. You can see right through me. There's the grass. There's... okay, I'm not going to move my camera to get a bison in it, but... I think that's so cool. I'm always so entertained when I see that. Game number 2 will be on the Great Plains. This is Passi's home map. Passi, the home player in this matchup, has decided to play on the Great Plains, and Passi won the previous matchup, and so has first pick, and has chosen to play as the British civilization on this map. Big CHIS here, with the ability to counterpick with any civ from the game, has opted to mirror Passi's civilization choice by also playing as the British civilization. So Passi spawning in the south in the map in the colour red, CHIS spawning to the north of the map in the colour blue. Passi going for the middle treasures, which is a bit of an interesting decision. Not often that you can guarantee yourself a settler treasure garrisoned or defended by coyotes. Quite often you see those massive bandit rider treasures, maybe a couple smugglers here, a couple treasures you just can't really take, but this is actually a treasure that you can kite and take. And what's really smart about this play from Passi here, whether he meant it or not, is the chances of CHIS moving to this location scouting is just not high, because the amount of times I talk about scouting patterns on this map, I always say scout the edges. These are the good treasures. The 60 food, the beaver treasures possibly. Let's find beaver treasure. Yeah, 40 coin down there for free. There's 70 XP, easy to take. These great treasures across the map. Find, help your age 1, especially opening up with like market. No one's going to go to the middle of the map, and Passi's just taking this extra settler treasure for free. And I imagine that Passi will probably drop down a manor house in the middle of the map, drop down the barracks, and that's going to save himself that walking time as well. So a net positive result there for Passi. He's going to move this back onto hunting and herding in these bisons, but could just sit there on the tree line, honestly. I don't think Brit players are that bounded by food for their age up time. So either all, I think it's a positive result either way. I did see him go for the market and house here instead of the 2 manor houses. I know that Passi is a real big advocate of the 2 manor houses, but I think this is a kind of a natural progression in the Brit mirror. I'm expecting to see the governor age up as well, so you could use that early coin for steel traps and a couple of musketeers. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this game plays out. We do see Big CHIS catching Will Smith on his return to the town centre, getting him snared. But Arthur Willoughby, much higher HP behind, certainly pushing Passi's explorer home. Passi can't really fight this. He could actually get some villagers in the town centre. The British is one of those civilizations who has so many villas in Age 1, but they can actually afford to get villagers into the town centre. A bit of an awkward timing for this hunt to run out. A lot of idle villas moving around or trying to bump on their way onto the bison, but it doesn't really matter. You see that Passi here is going to try and get an extra 100 food, so he had 100 for the gang saw, 100 for the villager being trained, and then all these villagers will get pulled onto the tree line. I would assume, yes, he does that exactly. So just a simple opening here from Passi, but very effective. So aging up with 17 vills. CHIS here with a double manor house here. He's aging up with 17 villas himself. He's just a little bit... Oh, because Passi's got the extra villager from the treasure, of course. So it's a 16 villager age up +1 for Passi, and CHIS is aging up with 17 vil. Essentially, they're aging up at the same time. That's all you need to know. It's the same time. No big difference here. It's all good. Panic over. And yeah, let's see how this Brit mirror develops. Let's check in Passi's deck. Would you see Advanced Arsenal instead of Cavalry Attack? You can see how that idea develops when you go through all the other cards. You're thinking, oh, I wish I had another way to upgrade my units much further. And the only unit you usually do see, emphasis on the usually, is the Musketeer in the Brit Mirror. And the Advanced Arsenal has 3 upgrades for the Musketeers in there. So it's a certainly decent card. Potential for Spice Trade, though, there could be. I think Spice Trade could work, especially on a map like Great Plains with huge amounts of hunts, with the Cheyenne as well, allowing you to go for the 15 bison tackle. It's just the 12 bisons if you run out of hunt as well. So that allows you to kind of keep that food progression moving forward. And let's look at CHIS's deck. Advanced Arsenal, no longbows, Cherokees in here. The Don deck, it looks like. A deck dedicated to Don. And with 16 villagers mining coin, that's a lot of villagers in coin. And aging up with the coin crates as well from the governor. I don't see a market just yet, so I'm not suggesting early hunting dogs or steel traps. This has the indication of the early 5 Cherokees, and I'm sure Passi sees this deck. He may think, oh, those Cherokees, they're a bit out of place. What's he going to do there? But he's got no real way to scout them if he is going to go for the coin gatherers. I don't think Passi has moved. Yeah, he hasn't moved in and seen the coin gatherers, so game sense will be on point here for Passi if he's aware of this potential opening. And the thing is, Passi's seen the barracks as well, so he's naturally going to instinctively think that there will be musketeers being produced here from CHIS, but CHIS and Cherokees, and the wood coming in from Passi behind. One thing to notice, the wood comes in quite fast. The Cherokee, I think it's because it's classed as a mercenary ship, I think it takes a little bit longer to send, and all this time there's no wood on the floor here for CHIS to spend onto manor houses. And also, he had to send that shipment in later because he needed to get that 500 coin to get that shipment being sent. What does CHIS see? CHIS sees an opening match of musketeers, and this is actually quite nice here, this position. I always like to talk about having your outpost on their barracks, so anytime a unit comes out, put some pressure on. And yeah, the Cherokees decide to come up home, try and avoid getting scouted to death from the outpost, or maybe just wanting to wait for more musketeer reinforcements. 22 villagers here for CHIS. Passi at 23 villagers, same manor population. I would assume that Passi will be spending this wood much faster. He's only gathering the 700 wood here with just the 2 villagers. I'd urge you to gather this with 4 or 5. The faster you get that gathered, the faster you can spend this on a second barracks or more manor houses. And the more manor houses provide the experience to hopefully maybe get that next shipment a little bit. But in come the Cherokee. Passi's seen this and he's running for the high hills. Explorer trying to move into the snare to slow us down. These villagers not having their greatcoats might be a bit too early. Actually, just denying this barracks is actually quite a nice play behind this. They need to get into the town centre. I think the Passi's hoping that the town centre can work. But the Cherokee Rifleman, 230 HP with a 10% range resist. Very, very resistant to town centre fire. And they do enough damage to knock over these musketeers. Just look at this from CHIS. All these units here one-shot a musketeer quite convincingly. So 9, they do 13 with a ×2 multiplier, so that's going to be 26 per shot. It's not. You don't even need all 9 to take down one musketeer. It's only going to need like 5 if they do 26. Yeah, 5, 6. 6 Cherokees to one-shot a musketeer. So advanced micro players could kill 3 musketeers in 2 volleys, so that could really help the effectiveness of that shipment. The Cherokees have gone back to the barracks. The reinforcing batch of longbows is going to get quickly put down here by the Cherokees. A lot of damage per second from these natives. Appearing to be a very strong shipment in this specific matchup and how they're working. And CHIS still in the 50 mana population. Obviously, remember these guys, they cost no population space. They don't have any military population. They actually get a villager pick off as well. Passi, 31 villagers to 25 of CHIS. That's where the extra wood from that 700 wood really starting to kick in. And the 5 villagers as well from that shipment to provide some sort of economic advantage. Where CHIS has gone for the 9 Cherokees. Looks like he went for 6 musketeers afterwards as well. So most of his 6 of his musketeers sent 10 trains. He's probably lost a few more others as well. Now sending in 700 wood behind this. This is a very interesting build. And finally, after years and years of Brit mirrors, we see a deviation of how to open in a Brit mirror, which seems to be working quite well. Just about holding a score lead, but has the room to grow his economy on the 700 wood, where kind of Passi's kind of been through that phase already and has been a bit idled. Lost a couple of vills, lost a barracks, and lost quite a few units. So Passi's certainly playing on the back foot. I know manor houses on like hunts over here. It's an opportunity for him to spread out on the map. And actually, Passi here chopping so much wood. 20 villagers on the tree line here, and sending 600 wood behind this, trying to go into a longbow production here. Only 5 in total. Minutemen 1 HP. Musketeers only 6 of them. Longbow's not great for chasing units because they're kiting animation. The Cherokees, they're just absorbing those arrows as if it's just like rain, possibly. Like, not really doing enough damage. And CHIS still with 7 Cherokees, only losing 2 so far this game. Beautiful unit control, has to be said, keeping it alive. And you can just see how the momentum is on CHIS's side. Way. House Key dropping down subscription. Thank you very much. Hello, my man, Green Screen Harrison. It's not a green screen. It's a technical cheat, but the effect is still the same. But this is going to be quite interesting because behind me is literally the green fields of the Great Plains. So it could be a green screen. Now you see the villager, the trees, the mine. It doesn't quite work. But thank you very much. Your support's always appreciated. And I hope you've been enjoying these casts and series. So CHIS now sending in 600 wood, his manor count up to 80 population, so 7 manor houses, passing up to 100 population, so 9 manor houses in total, not building another one, 12 idols in the town centre. Coin income has come to a grinding halt, trying to hold on and survive with a longbow mass. I think what Passi's trying to do here, he's thinking, I don't really want to send my musketeer upgrade cards because it's going to take a lot of investments to get tech in units I don't have, and then I need to then spend all those resources to train musketeers. He's thinking, actually, I'm playing very defensive here. Longbows is a great defensive unit. CHIS has gone aggressive. He wants to come on to me. But the weird thing is, like, actually, playing defensive is nice until you kind of run out of hunts. There's enough hunts to gather and control. Just feeling that, starting to feel that pressure build up on Passi's and his position. While CHIS is moving around the map, we do see another barracks being dropped down. CHIS has seen quite a lot of longbows this game, so he does know that the intention there from Passi to train longbows, and if you train longbows, you're not training musks, you're not upgrading them. So if you're not upgrading your musketeers, then it kind of pushes you into train even more longbows in that kind of like thinking process, or going to a hussar switch. So I'm expecting either player here to go into cavalry will do very well, especially now that CHIS sees all these longbows from Passi. Passi's trying to siege a building with longbows is a curious decision in its own right. The outpost will go down, but I don't actually see what advantage that outpost going down really going to help. He's going to move back. He can't actually finish his outpost. So in total, he's going to lose a lot of HP there. He's going to lose a couple of Vill. Manor House going down. Might lose the barracks to the higher siege units, and that push from Passi has somewhat failed. He might get some good picks on the musketeer retreats here, but I'm sure CHIS will want to pull out way before. Yeah, losing the barracks is actually quite impactful, especially on your reinforcements in the Brit Mirror. And CHIS is making a run for it, but we'll lose a couple of musketeers. I think the longbows can get one more volley off, and no, they don't. The reformation there from the longbows starting to actually really hurt Passi here. Musk attack being sent. Only 11 musketeers, 700 coin here would probably had more of an impact. Meanwhile, CHIS, he sent his own musketeer attack. 34 musketeers. You can see the difference of how this upgrade is going to play into this game. Maybe from CHIS's point of view, actually going for team infantry HP may be better, because you're going to take losses from the longbows, and longbows are always going to be doing damage onto these units, so there's an argument that the HP here could work slightly more in the favour. Just a couple hussars would be enough to just tank so much of this damage. I'm sure CHIS will be thinking along the lines, but he's also thinking actually double-carded units will do so well. The outpost being reinforced, being repaired, and Passi just thinking, you've repaired that building, and he will lose another musketeer for that as well, and probably a couple more. Just going to go dive straight into Passi's base, which is actually going to get a couple of kills. It's going to put Passi into big pressure. It's a bit of a blind dive. And yeah, the villagers run towards the town centre, running right through these musketeer buffed attacked units. Heavy losses going down. The Greatcoats are on these villagers, but not enough to protect them from all of the British army here. And that's a big raid. Just going to back out. And Passi over here, he's looking for hunts. He can't find any hunt. I think that's what he's trying to do. He's just trying to find anything to eat. He's got this forward hunt of bison. Never scouted this side hunt over here, but the army of CHIS is going this way anyway, so that would have been a bit of a disaster if he had villagers this way hunting. Musk's chasing after this small batch of musketeers from CHIS. Now Passi sending in team infantry HPs. He's now on the full-on trained musketeer bandwagon, but CHIS is now sending his upgrade card. 47 musketeers for CHIS. 29 for Passi. He's trying to find. He's just seen one pronghorn. If you just have a quick look over here, maybe two. Could go that, but he's just going to try and come back onto this bison so it looks like to hunt these and get that food going. Passi just having no fear. He's pushing CHIS's base. He wants to force the fight. He's thinking, okay, I've got my upgrade cards now. Have you? But actually, yeah, CHIS does, and another batch of villagers going down. Passi, 43 villagers. CHIS up to 42. So CHIS down the mana population count, and this game's still even. Naturally, I thought that CHIS may have had a few more villagers having that wood shipment delayed, but not to be. Villager production, Isle Town Centre for the time being, villager queued again. CHIS actually having lots of resources. Okay, here's the deviation, is that Passi's spending every single resource he has into villagers, into army there and then. Meanwhile, CHIS is going, do I age or do I mass? Do I age, do I mass? Minutemen being called, another musketeer batch going to be trained. He's actually lost, obviously, 2 barracks here. He doesn't have the production, and I'd hate to feel that CHIS is going to take is going to struggle with the fact that he has the economy but not the production. Passi taking the fight. Minutemen charging from behind. High HP explorers moving to the melee mode to snare. This early fight here is going to go really well in favour of Passi. 34 musks versus just the 13 musks of Passi plus the 19 longbows. Minutemen going to come in. Passi is sending 6 musks and double batch training, but these 6 musketeers being sent obviously are double carded, so the actual impact of the shipment is actually be very strong. What a great fight that Passi is taking here, and CHIS with this full-on amount of resources in his stockpile at the moment, unable to spend them. Next to a barracks though, so should get some decent reinforcements. Musketeers in the base of CHIS. Gonna get a couple of vills killed here. These guys do not have their great coats, so they instantly get put down very, very quickly. A couple more reinforcements on the left-hand side. Don't know where they come from. I think CHIS only has... Okay, he's got 2 Raxes. Another Rax was thrown up defensively over here. And just trying to get them out. But as soon as these batches of 5 musketeers pop out the barracks, they're just going to be outgunned by what's on nearby. And Passi has turned a bit of a questionable push into a very strong position, dominating the score at the moment. CHIS's villager lead has been halved. Massive raid behind the line. I was expecting these musketeers have basically sorted themselves out, but these villagers, no great coats, just going to get absolutely destroyed as well. But the army's gone cleaned up as well, so CHIS has lost the military and the economic. Was he going to age up? Was he going to defend? And the answer was that he could do neither in the end, unfortunately. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, having the resources but not the production, not having the great coats, and not having the spare capacity to deal with this giving anxiety-style raid. Passi came back into it, but yeah, that was one of my favourite Brit mirrors I've seen for a long time. CHIS opening up with the 9 Cherokees into 6 Musketeer cards, putting on the pressure, and although it's a great strategy, like it's a bit of a weird one in the sense that Great Plains is the one map where there's so much hunt. So the fact that actually rushing, you're not going to knock your opponent off the resources. Let's say if it was like a bit of a questionable map, like say Korea, where mid-map control is more important, resources are a bit harder to find. I think that strategy can work really, really well. So I'd encourage CHIS to keep that in his locker and have it for another day. But today versus Passi on a high hunt map. Oh come on, I got this wrong again. I need to get the scoreboard on the top so I actually see what I'm typing. There we go. There is definite, like, yeah. We can look in the early military counts. I think the counts will be better statistic, because obviously longbows, they're one unit. Get to see Minutemen here as well. We get to see the natives. We get musketeers. Give us a good idea. And CHIS having a massive a military lead continuously. He's just trying his best to force the issue. Then Passi with the 6 longbow plus 10 defensive longbows trains, able to hold. And for a long time, CHIS had the larger mass of double-carded musketeers and just had the military strength. 5 hussars from him would have ended the game. Because the reason why you can't go longbows as well is because the hussars will do so well, but you don't train hussars into full musketeers. That's why Passi couldn't train any hussars. But if CHIS had 5 hussars there tanking that final fight or onto the longbows, musketeers have to go into melee from Passi. That they're not shooting down the other units of musketeers, and it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, yeah. But a good game. Passi pushing out while CHIS wanted to age. And the Brit Mirror aging is quite tough due to the slow age. I'll look for the villager population. That's an interesting one here. CHIS never sending in that 5 vil, looks like, actually. 28 to 31, that's manor houses. 34 to 30, that's manor houses. Yeah, no 5 vil came in. See, 5 vil coming in from Passi with the 700 woods for the second racks and a couple manor houses. So had a decent economic lead for the longest part of the game. And I always felt that CHIS was trying to catch up at some point, but never quite could get that jump into making manor houses from a wood shipment. It was a bit strange because he did have 700 wood into 600 wood, but never really chopped a single bit of wood afterwards, which never really had his economy. And if he didn't have the economy then grown, he can't then outproduce Passi with a larger economy. So you can see how the difference of investing into wood early on and continuously chopping compared to no chopping at all, not really getting the manors down. But yeah, good game. Good game. And we'll move on to game number 3 of this Play All series. It's the Bombard Brawl. Let's play the greatest game mode ever. Yay! Oh, it's such a mess, that scenario. It's the idea of the scenario is fantastic. The only problem is you get given so many units. It's like, what's the point of having an economy? What's the point of this? And just it's a great idea, just not perfectly done. Passi CHIS, game number 3. Let's do it. Oh. Just spilt a bit there. That's not great, is it? Yeah. Luckily I spilled on the table, not my shirt. Have I spilled on the shirt? No, I haven't spilled on the shirt. That's okay. Ooh. Ooh, la la. The final game is going to be on Gran-Chaco, a 0 TP map. Passi won the last game. He has to pick first. He's chosen to play as the Dutch civilization on Gran-Chaco. CHIS able to counterpick here. Going to play as the Russians. Does Passi know how the map spawns? Obviously, starting off with the Explorer and the Envoy, players should know that llamas spawn in 2 sets of 2 around the 2 ponds on this map. So let me say again. There's 2 ponds. Each pond has 2 sets of llamas, and in each set of llama there is 2 llamas. So 2 by 2 by 2. That's 2 to the 2 cubed. That's 8 llamas in total. And 2 have gone there for CHIS. And Passi here picking number 2 llamas. He's got 2 llamas on the top side. Both explorers running in circles around each other, which then gives off it allows each other to know where. Well, Passi knows that the Russian explorer is here. The Russian explorer may think this is an envoy picking up these llamas. He doesn't quite know, but actually we'll probably be able to tell from that treasure that it's actually the explorer nearby. He's going to move off and probably take his own treasure, which I guess he could go for the early market here, but I don't know where this extra 100 coin is going to really help CHIS in the first stage. I suppose it's a good treasure. Kill the pirate, then kill the blowgunner in melee, take the treasure, quickly move on your way, because you haven't seen anything else worth taking nearby. But yeah, Dutch would love to have that treasure instead. They're a decent coin treasure. But actually, the steal may be on. It's just where he is away. He's going to kneel down and get this treasure first. Passi's thinking, do I take this? But he realises he's got lower HP, but he can't. But he could if he had the envoy nearby. But the envoy is nowhere to be seen. Where is the envoy? He's gone home. He's actually taken all the envoys home. What a sweet, caring envoy. Unfortunately, though, he's forgot to pick up the other 2 envoys. And if you're scouting down here with your envoy, you might as well try and look for the other 2 while you're at it. And yeah, Passi not looking around this entire perimeter of this lake, which I find a bit questionable, but it's not a massive issue. Passi here going to age up with the 15 villagers. He does have a couple of llamas in base, so you can to bounce off in transition. Will idle up with no idle time. Has another wood crate to gather from the floor, and so far his age 1 macro is looking on point. CHIS though, aging up with the 14 villagers, it seems like he's actually moving his llamas into position to be gathered at a fast pace to ensure the idlers age up. I don't think he needed to kill both the llamas. Llamas at this stage of the game already having about 90 foods. They fatten really fast away from a livestock pen with respect to other animals like the sheep, the cow, and obviously their Asian counterparts. But yeah, only a minimal amount of idle time here. That's going to be a quick age up. 250 click up. Usually we do see Russia players clicking up at the 3-minute mark, so a 2:53 is certainly very good going here from CHIS, sending 2 villagers forward, gathering up the wood now and changing across. Find another 2 llamas, and especially as a Russian player, that's very, very impactful. I would really like to see these being eaten earlier rather than later, just to ensure the continuous villager production with some military being trained, so that you can actually start that growing procedure that the Russians eco needs. They need that scaling of just continuously training these expensive batches of villagers. But if you can do that while putting pressure on the Dutch and forcing the Dutch player into defensive military, maybe reduce their bank they're going to make by number 1, forcing a pike shipment, CM, double batches of cav being trained, all these little things, slight small wins there for the Russian player, and it's just how you want to go. And like, for example, I could say this bank here, maybe a little far from the town centre. I think it's in range from all siege angles there, so it's okay, but a bit of walking time to get that bank down. Herding in that Gran-Chaco hunt, that's good. Passi realises this is a high priority objective or things to do with his villagers. He needs that hunt under his town centre. He's got it behind the town centre, but he just needs it right on the town centre. It's so important here. 7 villagers in transition to get that coin to get the first villager, but that's okay. Should gather up the wood crates with 4 vills, and then should have enough food by that time to go for village himself. Open up with a bank wagon here. Okay, Passi opening a bank wagon, so I'm expecting to see a stable market house or stable 2 houses. I don't expect to see a barracks opening here from the Dutch player playing defensively, unless Passi is feeling like he wants to make a lot of wars. So there's a stable, and yeah, there's going to be a couple of houses to go with it, I would assume. CHIS's point of view, forward blockhouse could be closer, to be honest. He does have a bit of distance. Usually if you're going to go for this playstyle, actually try and get as close as possible has its maximum benefits. Maybe CHIS was happy just taking complete mid-map control. But I suppose there's nothing really, if you place this far forward, there's nothing really help to block and protect the blockhouse. And on a single blockhouse on its own, it's a little bit risky. It's a bit vulnerable. 5 muskets being trained, 5 Cossacks being shipped, the villagers have been trained behind us as well. We have a market coming down at a later point. Not all those wood crates were gathered up, actually, which has been interesting. It looks like CHIS has got this kind of perfect macro of how much wood to gather and maximise, the efficiency of vills. But the Cossacks will come in. From Passi's point of view, he's seen the 5 musketeers. These are absolutely fine to deal with on their own. But once the Cossacks come in, it's going to be a bit of an interesting one. And Passi with the 2 houses play here, so the house and market, he can't sell a batch of food here to get that final 5th hussar out, and he can't readjust his economy to get the Minutemen. And actually going real deep here, 1 villager behind will get picked off. The 5 Cossacks in this position and the 3 musketeers will run away. Musketeers getting focused down by the town centre 1 by 1. I think that's very conscious interest there from Passi with his micro from the town centre, and the villagers are now getting back onto the silver mine. No gimmick. The rules for this tournament are you can only play a civilization once in a play or 3. So every player needs to play 3 different civilizations every game. And I've really been enjoying that. There are some players, they play one civ very well and others not so well. There's some players who play a whole multitude of civilizations to a decent level. It's been good because we do see various competencies of civs where sometimes the games it's like, well, actually a bit of unfamiliarity here. Well, let me suggest this build or suggest this idea. And some games it's like, well played, mate, well played. What a great game execution. And I sometimes learn from the players as well. So it's a nice little mix. But Last time I saw Passi playing Dutch, I was left wanting more. Hopefully, Passi here is going to give us a greater outing with obviously my favourite civilization, the Dutch. Going to go for a 4 Hussar raid. Only 1 Hussar half HP. These other villagers need to get into the town centre. They can't actually stay out, and trying to Ville micro is very cute. I do it all the time, but go down and miss out a Ville. But CHIS is thinking, okay, if you're in my base, I'm going to your base. Takes down the barracks. Stable is next here. If you really wanted to be really picky, the market's always a tempting option, but the 2000 HP is actually quite tough to break through, looking to try and get the house, but it's just the hour time that CHIS is here is actually going to put one over Passi. Now sends in the 700 wood, so went 5 Cossack, 4 Cossack, still training musketeers. There's a pike pop there from the shipment. CHIS has yet to react. Minutemen caught behind, so the timings of the pop there not perfect, and actually the pikemen get onto the musketeers. The cavalry able to retreat, and that's not too bad there for CHIS, to be honest. Like he lost a couple of villas back in base. He's down to 21 villagers, so he's probably lost 2 in total. 2 villagers in total max here, but he's forced the Dutch onto only 3 banks, forcing early Minutemen pikes at a time when the Russian player can have massed up a little bit more. He's housed, he's getting hunting dogs, placer mines, but he's got no real way to kind of get a 3rd bank. He's gone for the 700 wood bank wagon. The 600 wood later on could be there for his 4th, but I just don't think going for a bank wagon, making a bank this late into the second age really helps you that tempo. Couple of llamas here possibly might get converted. Still need to be eaten, but there's a lot of villagers here away from the town centre. No greatcoats. This is a huge raid once again. The Cossacks will come in to try and trade off, but a villager will go down, and Passi will retreat. As soon as CHIS maybe get a bit of contact, which I think he's got a decent chase here. That's a nice snare. Those Hussars are in trouble. Back into his base. We've got a couple of musketeers pushing in. They're trying to siege the barracks. I don't know why I want to siege the barracks. Focus on the villagers. But a couple of Hussars about to pop. 1 HP Minutemen. Just so much more damage. I think these musketeers are going to go down very, very quickly here. It's a nice idea. Maybe it's just an auto rally there, and it's just not going to go well. 3 pickups there for CHIS. But the Hussars down here have all been cleaned up. Only 1 making its escape. Second blockhouse stable with the blockhouse as well for quick, prompt cavalry reinforcements. I like that from the Russian player. The Dutch player here now sending 700 food. Nice card to send at this moment in time. Helps you potentially think about that age up. Maybe get some more Hussars being trained. Probably will go for 1 more Ville into the age up. He's got more villagers on the coin mine behind. So the age up is going to come in. Passi don't really wants to push out too much now. CHIS with his native scout does actually see the position of Passi's entire army. Does see the pikes, does see the 5 Hussar and the 1 HP Minutemen. And this is going to be a time where I think just mass production of musketeers and Cossacks will do very well. I think Passi just saw that Cossack mass growing. Obviously, he does see the stable, and it's quite obvious what trains are stable. And it's going to be more Cossacks. Another Hussar going down in the base of CHIS. And CHIS at 26 villagers now. So, yeah, in total, he's lost 3 villagers. Because obviously Russians train their batches in a bunch of 3, so from 14 up to 20, 23, 26. He's lost 3 in total. But Passi's lost probably about 5 Hussars raiding as well. So it's an equal trade. I think in the short term that's going to help kind of CHIS, because you think that the Hussars long term. You say Passi's, that's an investment he's made, but actually it's the Russian player, their way to increase their eco and trade. It's actually going to be very, very strong. 13 strats are now being sent after double batch of strats being made, so pushing in with 33 strelets and 12 Cossacks. This is a really nice timing. I like this play a lot, because you know that the only thing that the Dutch player can do is mass Hussars. If they mass Hussars, they can't age up, and otherwise that's going to be skirmishers. If they do get up to the fortress age, they're going to make skirm-reuter. They can't really mass the Hussars here, and actually the Hussars having to go for this fight. But 33 strats, there's enough for them to do a decent amount of damage. But good position here from Passi. A couple of Hussars onto the strats, but the strats will need to focus down the pikemen very well here. Just Z move and fight. I think the more you kite and move, the more you're just losing that opportunity to actually do damage. You see, all this time these strats are moving, they're not actually firing at the moment. And the Hussars here, they're just attacking everything and anything behind. 1 HP Minutemen finally being cleared up. If those strats were standing still, they could have microed onto the Minutemen 1 by 1 and saved themselves a lot of damage. But actually, the Z move there from Passi on the skirm Australian Cossack proved too much, and yeah, these are only colonial units as well. So Passi they're getting a real good cleanup, but his follow up behind would have been so much stronger, sending in the it's a 5 Hussar shipment. Well, I lied. What a great shipment to open up your account with on the third age. I don't think he was trying to go for the Vets Hussar there. But yeah, Minutemen would have been called, but just going too deep. The Cossacks were a little bit far away, but I think just the stand and deliver method would have helped a little bit more than the over micro there. I think that's what it was. It was over micro of all the strats. If it was a bit of a drag box, so let these strats fight, then pull these strats this way around away from the Hussars, that could have worked. But all that time, pikemen with high attack versus Cossacks were tearing down the Russian cavalry. But yeah, really good fight there for Passi. I think that's a bit of a lesson there. Sometimes it's just better to take your hands off the keyboard, hit the Z move, and pray to Garja. But yeah, Passi, it's another series going 3-0. Recently, we've seen actually a lot of these series reaching 3-0s, which, you know, the rules are set out in a way that players can come back into it, and in a way that sometimes 2-1s are more plausible. I mean, statistically, 2-1s are twice as likely than any other combination, really, because you have 2-1s to either player in that sense, and 3-0 to either player. It's not really likely, because if one player's going to win 3-0, the other person's not really going to miraculously win 3-0 themselves. But yeah, Passi marching strong, Herbie marching strong as well. These two are the clear favourites of the Trash Can League. Let's look at the post game for this game. Honestly, the village count in particular for the Hussar raiding. Yeah, we do see the 2 villas go down there and 1 vill later on, but Passi himself, he lost a villager and quite a bit of our time as well. So in the end, I think in terms of the kind of the villager raiding and all that, you'd have to give it to CHIS, but he did lose a couple musketeers early on for free in that situation, and then maybe could have argued the Boyars could have been a better card to send instead of the 13 strats after you had just trained 20 strats yourself, and that could have been combat card for all of them. If those musketeers stayed alive from those early pushes, especially here, like that's a massive pop of Minutemen, pikemen, and not really any units being killed. This batch of units being lost for free for CHIS was a bit of an oopsie moment. And if pushed in with Cossack Musketeer, that's a tough combo for H2 Dutch to deal with, really. Real tough. But yeah, another good game, another interesting game, another close game. And I don't think the scoreline in the series reflects the gameplay I've seen out of CHIS. I mean, I think CHIS has some really good games, especially that Brit Mirror. I really enjoyed that. But I hope you guys also enjoyed that as well if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow the playlist. All the casts have been uploaded to the playlist so you can watch previous rounds and how other players have been doing across the tournament as well. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.